Father's Day was yesterday, and I have a lot of interesting thoughts on one being a father and then not having a father. So it's going to be an interesting topic today. What's up, Irish Brian? Tuned in. He's a regular. I love him. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know how we start every podcast though, saying what we're grateful for. Grateful for my family. Grateful for God. Grateful for everything that I've been given. Grateful for my kids, man. Yesterday, I had all my fighters read what we call a death letter because we're about to go to war this week. And the letter is basically what a lot of military men write, or women, a lot of military personnel write before they go do something where they may not come home. They have a letter that's given to their family. And so it forces you to be very honest about your feelings. It makes you confront them. And of course, as a leader, I write one every year. This one was a little more on the humorous side. As I get older, I find jokes in more things. And so I talked about how my daughter, basically by the time she was 18, I gave her all the knowledge I could. I gave her all the tools. She has all the things that she needs in order to succeed. It's just whether she applies them, and to remind her to go chase them. And with my son, just talking about how he's helped me become a better man because I look at him and I look at the fact that the evils that I went through didn't touch him. And I see this loving, caring, protective, strong, courageous kid who just wants to get after it. And it makes me strive to be a better man in order to understand him better. So I'm just very grateful for my kids, grateful for the lessons they've given me. And it's this fun thing where I teach them how to overcome adversity because I was forced to. And they teach me how to live in a world that, better yet, they teach me that the world isn't always against me. It's not always dark. They force me to live in the light. So I'm very grateful to them. Now, I'm going to read something. If you take offense, that's on you. Leave it at that. I'm going to talk about fatherhood, and not that Instagram version with the matching outfits and the highlight reels and you're looking cool on social media, right? I'm talking about showing up when it's hard, being there when you're tired, choosing them over your own comfort. Because the truth is, any man can make a child, but only a real one raises them. And if you're out here calling yourself a man, but ducking your responsibilities, I can't really, if you could look at your own kid and still choose the streets, another woman, or your pride over them, you're not a man. You're a coward. That's as real as I could bring it to you right there. I don't care what your dad didn't do. I don't care if your baby mama or the mother of your child makes it hard. Real men find a way. Weak men find excuses. So today we're going to dive deep into that, calling out the deadbeats, saluting the fathers holding it down, and reminding every man listening your legacy starts at home. Because if you can't lead your own blood, you can't talk about leading anything else. I wouldn't even trust you. I would. I couldn't trust you to do anything if you weren't taking care of your responsibilities at home. And I get it. I run a business, right? I understand the hours it takes to be in there. I understand that you're going to miss out on things. However, that doesn't mean that you skip on your responsibilities as a man, as a father. I can't do business with someone if I know you're not being a good father. If you are not handling your responsibility, and I get it. I have an ex-wife, right? We have a son together. My daughter's mom, we split up. I understand you may not get along with the other parent, but always remember to put the kids first. I am so grateful to these women because they understood that regardless of who I am and how I am, my number one goal is to put those kids first. And as long as they did the same, we were always going to find our way to the same page. Now, I'm old school, even though I just described not have, I didn't have, I have two failed relationships. I always say I've been through two divorces. My daughter and my daughter's mom and me, we were basically married in my eyes, right? Two long relationships and two beautiful children. I've gone through two divorces. I put most of that on me. I wasn't empathetic to their feelings. I wasn't understanding to their feelings. It was, this is how we're moving and we're going forward. I don't have time for feelings. I have time for logic. Let's make this happen. And that doesn't work for home, right? That works for running a business, that works for reaching your goals, but it doesn't work for a home. And it took me a while to realize that. So our relationships didn't work, but never did I let that stop me from being a father. Never did I let that get in the way. Never did I let an argument stop that from happening. I would have never let courts stop me from being able to see my kid. I would have spent ungodly amounts of money on lawyers to ensure that I'm in my kid's life. Now, I'm blessed I didn't have to go through that. Some of that I would say is because they knew that I was a good man. I just wasn't a good man for them to be in a relationship with. There's a difference. Now, I'm appreciative that they weren't vindictive, right? And DLO, thank you. So I was very appreciative to that. But at the end of the day, it was my job to be the man, to be the leader. And to me, that is how you should function when you have kids. You are now responsible to others. I was willing to work a job I hated in order to give my kids whatever they needed. Now I'm blessed that I learned that I could do more, but nevertheless, I didn't take my eyes off that. Build whatever I'm building, but be the man. For me, it was looking at my daughter and saying, okay, I have this precious little girl. What kind of man do I want her to be with? Because now I have to be that. I have to show her these things. I have to lead her because one day she's going to choose a man. And I want to help facilitate that she picks a good man by modeling set behavior. When it came to my son, I need to teach him how to be a man. I need to lead, and he's paying attention to everything that I do. So my actions have to back that up. And then having these conversations with them. I've talked about it on this podcast before. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I messed up a million times. My daughter doesn't turn homework in and I while out. I'm like, why aren't you turning your homework? And I'm giving a 2-hour lecture. And I'm upset because it's like, it's the simplest thing to do. And then 10 minutes after the conversation, realized that I just bugged out, right? Calm myself down, bring her to me, and then have a different conversation. Look, I'm sorry. My bad. No, dad, it's okay. I understand. No, 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 no. Because your dad shouldn't have raised his voice. I shouldn't, I shouldn't have allowed myself to get to that level because I never want another man to speak to you like this. And I need you to understand that this is my fault. Do you understand why I was mad? Yeah, I understand. Okay, cool. How can we avoid this from happening in the future? It's being willing to accept my imperfections and be able to apologize for them and in order to let her know she's safe. All these things I learned from coming from a household that wasn't like that. First time I met my biological father, I was 18. Now, I don't know about the rest of you. I can only imagine not having your biological father around is hard, right? I'm a mixed kid growing up in a pretty much predominantly black and Hispanic neighborhood with a white stepfather and a white mom. And my father's black. I had no traces to my own culture outside of my friends who I call my brothers. So for me, it was being lost for a long time. On top of that, my stepfather being abusive in every single way that you can imagine. I was like, I would have these thoughts about my father just showing up and being a superhero. Just to be disappointed when I was 18 and finally got to talk to him, knowing this man worked for the airlines, knowing this man could have flew anywhere to see me, and he actively made choices not to. And when I asked him about it, he said, "Well, your mom said to just let you be." And I didn't realize until I had my daughter that there's no way in hell that somebody could tell me that. And then I would just chill. I already thought he was full of crap. I definitely thought when I had my daughter. It's this weird thing. And the first time I met him, he was basically on his deathbed. Now that's on me. I'll put that on me because I had opportunities I could have went and seen him. I was being hard-headed. So when I got to see him, he had a tube in his throat. He couldn't talk. He just could write. Now, yes, I can blame him for not coming to see me. I could do that, but that doesn't get me anywhere. I got to hold that because I had the means to go see him and I chose not to because my ego and my pride was in the way. So I wanted to make sure that I removed my pride and my ego in dealing with my kids. I still messed that up. But at the end of the day, when I die, my kids can say that their dad was there, that I gave them everything I could, and then some, that I worked hard, that I worked 7 days a week because I want them to have a better life. I want them to have a better jumping spot than I did. And I don't know what it's going to take for some of you fellas to get this through your damn head, but you not being in your kid's life is fucking them up. Because I mentor a lot of kids that are in the juvie system, and almost all of them have no dad. All of them don't even understand how to be a man. They don't know how to trust men. They don't know how to function in any way, shape, or form. And you can sit there and you can blame women, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. Even if you only got this, if the court says you can only see them every weekend, then why aren't you doing that? Because you're the same men a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, don't mind buying alcohol, don't mind buying something else, don't mind doing this when you could just save that money. And if it takes you 3 years to save this money to get a great lawyer, so you, in order to see your kid every week, that's important. Look, I'm sorry for cheating on you. I'm sorry for messing up. I'm sorry for anything I did to you. Can we work it out so I can bring the kid home from school? Can I take our kid to school? Whatever it is that you have to do, that matters. And not enough of you are out there sacrificing to make it happen. And if I sound pissed, it's because I am. Because you'll find any excuse and blame anyone. But until you start pulling that shit on you and take control of your life, we don't go anywhere. We just keep spinning the wheel, wondering why we aren't getting better. And I mean that as a society, period. But more specifically, with anyone that's black and brown, what are we doing? You're quick to blame every other fucking race, but you're not doing the damn job. Why aren't you being a man? Why aren't you being a father? I was beaten. I was raped. My dad wasn't there. Still got to be there. Because I know what I wanted. So I was determined to give my kids that life. And it's mind-blowing to me why you would want it any other way. Why wouldn't you want your kids to have this dope-ass life? You don't got a bad mouth. Like, I've never said anything negative about their moms to them, ever. I never will. Never. For what? We all got faults. We all got imperfections. We all got shit that's wrong with us. It's not my job to let my kids know what's like. Their moms are growing. It is what it is. And it's so important that we move forward this way. It's so important that we engage in life this way. Like, why would you want to, why would you have a kid and not be in their life? Time flies too fast. And it's such a blessing to have a kid. Like, that shit isn't guaranteed. We walk around acting like life is guaranteed. And it's not. You could have a kid and die tomorrow. What have you taught your child? What have you taught them to do? How have you helped them? Like, to me, being a father is like the most selfless act I could ever do. And in return, it's weird. It's like one of the most selfless acts that becomes so selfish because I love the feeling of watching my kids succeed. So someone just said, or Ortega or Tinka, mine, my mine was always in my life, but never knew how to be a father, and I will never forgive him for that. That's understandable, yo. That makes sense. Your feelings are on point. I think anyone would understand your feelings. What I would say though is you not forgiving him doesn't allow you to move forward and do better. Right? You are going to hang on to that negative energy and it's going to be transferred to someone else. You have to let that go. And I'm speaking from experience. I didn't I just talked about this the other day. We talked about it in my situation. Yeah. Like I I didn't take my kids on vacations because of what would happen to me on my vacations with my stepfather. I didn't It took me a while to like have fun playing games, board games and card games with my kids because of what I went through with my stepfather. Even though I know my understanding of strategy came from learning how to play Risk, learning how to play chess, knowing how these games operate. I could pick up any game quick. I learned how to count and multiply because of card games, right? My quick math is on point because of these games. But I hated it so much with my stepfather and hated the things that he did so much at that time that it got in my way even though I thought I forgave him. So the next level was a deeper meaning of forgiveness, which for me was empathy. And now I play games with my kids all the time. Now I'm actually looking at when I can make a little vacation happen. And I'm blessed that my son is still at an age where I could do this stuff. Now my daughter is too, but it's a little harder because she lives on her own. I know I don't do it intentionally, but I can't. It comes from within. I know I don't do it. Yeah, so you got to take the time to, like, when you feel that, like, even then you said, I can't, I never forgive him. I will never forgive him for that. You can word that differently, right? You could say, I haven't forgiven him for that, but, or not even say but, I have not forgiven him for that. I am going to continue to work on forgiving him though, right? Because saying, because words matter. Words very much matter. I will never forgive him for that. That's final. That's saying I'm you're killing yourself essentially, because you're not leaving yourself any space to grow. I haven't forgiven him for that. I am going to continue to work on it. That leaves room for growth. And now your mind, right? And your heart, it understands it differently. It's like, oh, okay, we need to forgive. We need to start working on this process. And growth is never linear. And Melissa's right. Never get, when you can't forgive someone, when you hang on to that anger, when you hang on to that hate, when you hang on to all those emotions, you no longer control you. They're controlling the things. They're controlling how you operate. You need to take ownership and control and say, yeah, I'm going to start forgiving. And growth isn't linear. So there's no timetable on it, right? So it's like, what lessons did you learn from it? That's what I started looking at. That was the easiest way for me to forgive. I had to logically process this, like playing sports. If we lost in football, we can logically, it hurts, right? It hurts. But we can start looking at what plays we missed. If I lost in wrestling, I could see that. If I lost in fighting, I could, you know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't do something in the music business and I lost or didn't get where I wanted, I could start looking at this stuff and logically sift through it and figure out how I could do better. Well, that's what you could do with this. I My dad was there, but he wasn't what I wanted. Okay. What is it that you were looking for? What is it that you wanted? Cool. You write that out. Well, when I have kids, this is what I want to do. Okay. What are the things that you didn't like? Cool. I don't want to repeat those same mistakes, because here's the thing. If you can't forgive, you end up making different mistakes with the same energy, right? So my father wasn't there, I was there, but I didn't engage in games. I should have. I could have easily played more board games, more card games, but for me it was like such a ugh. So it's just the understanding of that. And once you could do that, you start to grow as a person. You win if you look something wait, you win if you took something away that makes you better or grows perspective. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird because Melissa's in the office in the studio too. So she's having these comments. It's kind of funny because I want to engage just directly with her. But no, she's right. She's most definitely right. It's so weird to me that more men don't want to be fathers and don't want to take the time. And the number one excuse is, their mom did. Man, I don't have another way to say it. Y'all just sound like a bunch of bitches to me. Because there's no way a woman could dictate what's going on with my kid. If I got to go to court, I go to court and do what I got to do. And I get it. It's not a perfect world. You may not be able to see your kid as much as you want. I see my kid. I get to be with my son 50 to 60% of the time. I want 100%, but so does his mom, right? And these are the choices that we made, right? But my son and I, usually text or talk every day. We have contact. And he knows at any moment of time he can call me and I'll be there. Any moment of time. And then when I do have, and then when he is with me, I'm investing time. Yesterday for Father's Day, I was telling Corey, like, man, I'm on some old man dad stuff. It's like I had a true old fashioned dad day yesterday because after I was done working at the gym, I played some games with my kids, family, and then my daughter and my other son, her man, leave, and I tell my son, I'm like, Zay, let's we're going outside. He's like, what are we doing? I'm like, cleaning the gutters. You're gonna move the ladder and make sure it doesn't fall, and I'm gonna go clean the gutters. And that's what we did. And by the end of it, he wanted to climb the ladder and get it. He was like, Dad, my reach is a little longer. I think I can reach further and maybe we can get it done a little faster. And now we only had a little section left. And I'm like, you know what, son? That's cool. I moved the ladder now and I made sure it didn't fall. But watching him get up there and actually do the work, and then I got to tell him, I'm like, do you know why we're doing this? He was like, no. Why? And I was like, okay, we clean the gutters so that rain can flow through the downspout correctly. Because if it doesn't, it builds up and it sits in the gutters, and then it can cause water damage to the house, and probably if it's causing water damage to the house, it's also ruining the gutters. And that's all going to cost money. And right now, it's just costing a little bit of time and a little bit of work. So we do the work and we put in the time now so we don't have to worry about replacing it later. Because look, the gutter, like, and I showed him on the front side where the gutter is a little spaced out from the house and how water just trickles down now. And me and my wife are gonna have to fix it, right? And so, like, this is where we're at. But that's cool. I got to explain it to him. And he was invested in it. No phones, no headphones, no nothing. We were just chilling. And he's always in a good mood when we do chores together. Oh, Angela, thank you so much. I love you too. And so it's so important as a dad, especially, like, I won't say especially our sons because daughters need their dads too. It's how they learn how to function with men, right? And so it's so vital, it's so important because they understand men are safe, right? Not all men, but men are safe. And my son is right. He's got a longer reach than me. The kid is almost 6'2". Like, like the kid is like tries to look down on me. I'm like, kid, you better like raise above me. So, but it was fun. Played games, cleaned gutters, and then gave him his chores for today. And he did half of them last night. So he's set. And like our favorite time together is when I pick him up from basketball when he's training with Corey, or when I pick him up from school and take him to school. Cause we're joking around the whole time. The whole time. And it's weird to be joking around with your kid somewhere between 5 and 6 a.m., but we have fun doing it. And sometimes he's just like half asleep, and then I start joking with him, and then he gets going. So it's like it's kind of dope. We pray together before we eat, and I even make him, because he hates it. It makes him uncomfortable. I have him lead the prayer sometimes because I think that's important before I leave the house. It's like, what's your job, kid? Be the protector. Who's in charge though? When we all live when we all lived together, it was his sister, his mom or his sister. It's like, hey, your job is to protect everyone, but who's in charge? It's letting them, which is also important to me because it's like, hey, if it's just you and your sister's in charge. If your mom's at home, your mom's in charge, right? It's letting him know a leader doesn't mean you're in charge, right? And I think that's a great value to teach men because a lot of people got it twisted, especially when it comes to old school tradition, that just because the man is the leader of the house, he has final say so over everything. And I don't necessarily subscribe to that, right? So when it comes to my business, I run the show. When it comes to home, I don't run the show. And so that's okay. But that doesn't mean I'm not a good leader. It doesn't mean that I'm not leading. I'm still providing, I'm still protecting, I'm still doing my job. It's just, I don't care what we've had this conversation before, Corey. I don't care what color a room is painted. Like, if you ask me between colors, I might give you a suggestion, but I really don't care. I'm just, what do you need me to do? Right. Duffy says, wait, Melissa says, I believe I'd be a complete different person in my interactions with men if yeah, of course, of course. John Duffy says, what if I'm the one who's in charge? I mean, if you're the one in charge, then you're the one in charge. It is what it is. I'm not saying being in charge is wrong. That's just not the dynamic that I have set. And I've never been with, it's funny because as old school and traditional as I am, which is, I say it all the time, more like a caveman, I never, I've always picked women that are probably gonna quote unquote run the show at home, meaning they have 51%, I got 49, right? It doesn't mean that I don't have input. It's just after discussion, she's the woman is running the house, yo. If she wants a shelf here, like, I don't care. Do you? Whatever makes you happy, yo. Because I don't care. Now, it'd be different if I did care. Then we can have a different discussion, probably. But most time, I don't care. I'm good with it. If you ask me for feedback in some way, if you ask me for a decision, I'll give a decision, right? So it's important that I teach my son these values. And I was making fun of him yesterday because he was like, I act nothing like you. I'm like, oh, for real? You think that, huh? He's like, yeah, I'm him. I'm him. You're and like he was talking, right? I was like, do I need to call your mom? He was like, bet that. And I was like, oh, word? That's what we're on? He's like, there's I'm like, kid, you act just like me. He was like, and I'm using all the same terms he uses. He's like, that's cap. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all right. So I get his mom on the phone, put it on speakerphone. I'm like, hey, I'm like, why is your son saying he doesn't think he acts like me? And she was like, boy, please. And he was like, that's cap. And they're just talking. Now they're bantering. And she's like, the way you move your hands is the same way as your dad. Like, you talk with your hands just like he does. You get animated like him. Everything. She was like, you are basically just like him. And she was like, you're like me too, but you're very much like your dad. And I'm like, there you go. And so, and he's laughing, and because he knows this already. But this is just, it's like, this is important. To me, it's important because we're talking crap to each other. Like, when he says he could beat me in basketball and I take him on the court and I still win. That's, to me, that's great. Right? Just like I got to be supportive of him when he wants to play tackle football, and I did everything I could to not get him to play tackle football. I got you, kid. I'll coach you one more year, and this year we'll do tackle football, and then you're off to the races. Asking him what his goals are. Oh, I want to play D1. Do you know what that takes? No. First thing I brought up was grades. It's like, hey, this is what it's going to cost. Homework every day, studying every day, being on point every day. There is no day off from school. This is what it's going to cost athletically. You're going to have to get stronger. You're going to have to become more mobile. And then reminding him when he starts to slip, hey, what's your goals? Play D1. What school? Now it's the Ohio State Buckeyes. Okay. What's it going to cost? And then he snaps back in. Like if I wasn't there, this isn't a knock on moms because I know a lot of moms that will hold their sons accountable like this, but there's a difference. I ride him like when he slipped in geometry and he slipped hard. I was like, look, you don't fix this. I don't care about summer school. You're not playing football next year. Period. Oh, his mom was not happy. And I said, look, if he gives his all to geometry and still doesn't, and this grade still is the same, he could play football. But if he continues the way he's doing and not putting forth the effort, max effort on this, no, he's not playing football. And when she wanted a buck, and I was like, do you think my son is going to do something that I told him not to do? And I'm like, the coaches aren't going to let him play. He didn't get to do basketball for a little while, which he loved. But he worked every day. And then once the grade improved, continue to work every day. He chose an extra math class in his second semester to help him over taking a photography class, which he really wanted to do because he knew he needed the extra work and he knew he was not going to reach his goals if he didn't do that. Now, to me, only a dad can do that because a mom may give in. A mom, like, look, man, y'all a little soft on your son sometimes. I get it. These are your babies. I understand. That's where pops comes in. And that's what needs to happen. That's why it's so important for us as fellas to be in our son's life, to be in our daughter's life, to help them out. What you think, Corey?
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I've been in the same situation with my boys. As far as having to pull that card on them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard life being a man. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I know what it's like to be a man. I know.
Love, as a man, love is very conditional.
Oh yeah, Chris Rock said that. That was the dopest thing. He was like, Corey just said that as men, love is conditional. And I don't care what women say, I concur. Chris Rock said it best. Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Meaning that a kid, no matter what happens, their parents are gonna love them, their mom is gonna love them, still take care of them. A dog, you can come home and a dog could have peed on the floor and you'll be mad, but you'll clean it up and you'll still love that dog, right? You'll still take care of that dog. You'll still feed that dog. With women, it's the same way. Let a man lose a job for too long. Let a man not do what he's supposed to be doing for too long. He might lose it all. Let a man not have the correct empathy. You know what I'm saying? Like our behavior, it dictates how we are loved. What we bring to the table is dictate how we're loved and kept. Y'all may not like it, but it's a fact and just deal with it. And that's okay. That doesn't mean we have to be perfect. Just understand that a good man works, takes care of his family, shelters and provides protection for his family, and is the best way I can say it, the North Star for his family. And that's just, to me, that's just facts. History has proven that. Now, how you provide and protect, how you do these things, all differ, right? All differ. And I'll have a debate with a woman about this. I'm good with it because, like, look, who do you want protecting you? If someone breaks in the house, are you, as a woman, are you going downstairs? I promise you're not going to look at that man the same way, right? It doesn't mean you can't do it. You want your man to do it, right? When there's a million things going wrong, It's a scientific fact that typically, on average, men handle it better because we can compartmentalize. We can shift things over differently. It's just how we're made up. We can never nurture as well as a woman. I don't care how good you are at it. Women have so many strengths that are different from us, and that's okay. That's why it's important to have mom and dad involved. Now, if the dad can't be around or isn't around, it's why it's so important to have eh, great male mentors. I'm blessed. A couple of my brothers, man, their fathers were like our pops to me. Like one of them passed away already. The other one I hit up yesterday, like Happy Father's Day. Right? That's pops. I learned so many lessons from him, watching him, talking to him. That's pops all day. So, yeah, be a good man. And if you got the time and effort, be a good man to a lot of these kids that don't have it. Like I said, I mentor kids. Corey mentors kids. We both mentor in the juvie system, essentially. We might do more beyond that, but these young men are lost because they don't have men in their life typically. Doesn't mean the moms are doing something wrong. It's just I can't raise a girl to be a woman, and you can't raise a man, you can't raise a boy to be a man. Because we just look at the world differently. The world treats us differently. I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get drinks bought for me every time I go to a bar. I'm not like there's just certain things that's just works different, and that's okay. I'd rather be a caveman that takes care of my kids than be a new generational man that doesn't want to be around. Bars. I'm petty. Men who step up when others don't are a different breed of man. Hey, it's better to be different to me than be the same. I know Corey's the same way. Corey Corey works with kids. He's a basketball coach, does mentorship. Like Corey's super dope to me. He is the epitome of being a man. It inspires me. Inspires me to always be a better man. And so and he doesn't give himself enough credit, so that's why I do it. He hasn't learned how to give himself enough credit, so I'm doing it for him. But he's a great man. But that's why I'm working with him. If he didn't take care of his kids, there's no way I'm in this studio right now. Because if you're not on point with your kids, how could I ever trust you to do something? You didn't do the one thing right. You're not taking care of the most important thing. You not handling business. I'm gonna trust you. Make sense of that. Make sense of that. And I'll even tell you, I'll even be more gangster with it. If you the type of dude, now Corey isn't, but if you the type of dude, if you sleeping with other women, I don't care about that. If you're not taking care of your kids, I care about that. Because to me, it's not the same. You could be you cannot be the greatest husband in the world and still be a great father. That matters, right? I know that might upset some women. Maybe.
You want to get gangster? Isn't that what he says in The Godfather?
Oh yeah, he does. I just watched that.
Yeah, it was
I just
on
watched it.
yesterday.
Yeah, I just watched that. Like, I don't think I watched it yesterday. I watched it the other day. It was on. I just turned it on while I was doing scheduling. Um, yeah, he asked that singer, "Are you taking care of are you spending time with your family?" And he said, "Yes, yes, Godfather." And he was like, "Good, because a man who doesn't spend time with his family to take care of his family isn't a man." Facts. The kids are the future, and all the trauma that will get from you not doing your job properly will. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. Like, forgive. Also affect the one. Yeah. So forgive. Learn how to forgive. Learn how to forgive. Emotional turmoil to the mother affects what she can give to your kids, though. Yeah, I mean, facts. I understand that. I, I almost said something so stupid. I almost said, so don't let her know. That's why. That's why they tell men never to tell the whole truth, because then you might emotionally hurt the woman. But it's not my place to judge whether a man cheats, does whatever. My moral compass is skewed. I've talked about it before. Don't hit women. D- don't abuse your children or the wife at all, ever. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be the best man you could be, and kind of go from there. So my moral compass is a little skewed most of the time. So I think I just value things a little bit differently. So, but Melissa, you're right. Like, if that could mess up the mom too. Man, I shouldn't be able to. If you know what it is, because men wouldn't lie to their boys about it. If I think about it, does that make sense, Corey? What I'm saying?
Say it again.
So, like, if a man is taking care of his kids, he isn't abusing his wife, he isn't doing those things. But like, he pulls a Tiger Woods, right? He's out there, he's out there sleeping with other women. He probably wouldn't lie to his boys about it if they asked him. He probably wouldn't lie to them.
No, because they probably use it as a lesson
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
learned.
yeah, yeah.
Well, didn't that happen in the Pittman interview
Yeah,
with when he said he was bluntly honest in that interview.
yeah. Like when I read Relentless by Tim Grover, he talked about Tiger, and I mean, I said it then. It was funny because I called it, and then I read it in a book. Tiger Woods, when he decided to change, lost his edge. He should have just kept. He should have just kept messing with all these women. His marriage was already jagged. He should have kept doing it. So, but I understand, like, he wanted to become a different man, and I've heard this from Tyson, and I've said this many times because there's different ways to say it, but basically, throughout history, no man that did something great was a great person. What it takes to do something great doesn't necessarily make you a great person. And what I mean is like, the things that it took for me to be great in music business and running a gym and fighting, doing all these things that I know that I've done that's pretty dope. I was not a great husband or a great significant other because I didn't have time for empathy. It's weird though, I made empathy for my kids because I looked at them as they needed more of my protection. And so if at those times, like, I think about it, and I'll just basically give a scenario roughly based on something. If back in those days, if my significant other would come up to me and say, I feel like you're not paying attention to me, I'd be like, okay, why do you feel that way? I don't know, I just do. Well, if you can't make logical sense of it, then how do you know it's true? Maybe I just didn't spend time with you today. I was with you yesterday. I'm gonna be with you later tonight. So what are we talking? When she probably just needed a hug. Because right at that moment, she didn't feel loved, right? She didn't feel seen by me. 45-year-old me understands that now. 25 to 35-year-old me was like, you're bugging. You're not making logical sense. And understanding that feelings don't make logical sense, that took me a little bit.
There's also time and quality time. which I think we were both probably guilty of
Yeah,
being there,
but not present.
but not present.
Yeah. And that's something you also learn
Yep.
over time. Like you learn that. And we talked about that because that comes from like, at least in our generation. Like I just said, I'm 45. Corey stems from the same generation where the men worked. And even the generation before us, the men worked. Like I they may not have known, not all the men that were around knew about school, what was happening at school, happening. Like they weren't the ones making the doctor appointments, right? It was just a different time. And so we've had to learn how to grow and improve. So
25 to 34, I'm in go mode. It's just about making it happen.
moral compass matters. North Star of the family. Don't want kids to grow into broken home ideals. Yeah, I agree. Just everybody's moral compass isn't the same. Like I don't judge men on cheating. I would judge them, I believe I would judge them if it was causing them to not be causing them not to be a good father. And what I equate that to is like if you think about an athlete who's traveling to other cities for work, he's already he's not, if he stays in that city longer instead of going home with his family and to be with his kids, now we're having a different discussion, right? But if he's flying into Baltimore and his family lives in Texas because he's got a game, the game is done, he smashes, whatever. That's not him being a bad father, not a good husband. I give you. And can you say not being a good husband may affect? Yeah, I can. That's a whole different discussion. So that's interesting. Now I'm thinking about it.
Mm.
I can still do business with that man. It depends on how he was treating it. She said, that's because you're a woman. I get it. Like I understand it.
Is it a double standard or does it go both ways?
It's for sure a double standard. And oh man, Corey, do you have like a bottle or a can that you're not using? I'll show you the difference. That you're not using at all.
I have a bottle next door. Can you hold on?
Yeah. I'm about to murder this subject and upset an entire gender probably. Yeah, that's fine. I could deal with it. This is how we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up with me showing why it's a double standard. And doesn't mean it's right, but there's a double standard in life altogether, right? We can call out double standards all the time. Like I talked about, hey Corey, you've ever been yeah, that's fine. Do you have a pen or something?
Okay, I do.
I mean, I can just use my finger, it's fine. Hey Corey, have you ever been thank you. Have you ever been asked out by a woman and then you expected her to pay for everything?
No.
There's a double standard right there. Men typically have to ask women out. If a woman makes 100K, she's probably not dating a guy that makes 30K. But a man who's making 100K has no problem dating a woman making 30K because our wants are different, right? So this is why it's a double standard, right? You see, yep, you see, everybody see this. This is a double standard. This is why men cheating and women cheating are different. So if a woman is cheating, first of all, and I'll have this debate with any woman, can a woman sleep with a man and not like that man? What you think, Corey? Not like him in some way, shape, or form.
It's possible. It's possible.
She can have, so she didn't find him handsome, didn't find some, then I would challenge, and any woman that also thinks it's possible, then why is it that you can have plans to sleep with this man and he says something stupid and instantly you shut it down? How many times have you heard women talk about that, Corey? If I was gonna sleep with him and then he talked and he said something stupid. Then he messed it up. Or you and your wife could get along great and she's probably gonna give you some booty. You said something wrong, pissed her off. Now you're not getting no booty. That's never happened in the world of man. We could be mad at our significant other and still, like, we can still function. A woman can say something stupid and we may be like, oh man, she said something really stupid. But we're definitely gonna do it. We're definitely gonna do it. So beyond that, so that's one of the main factors, because that means she's going to have to put emotional, there's something that she likes about him, which is now an emotion. Men we're disgusting. Just face it, we're disgusting. We don't need to like you to sleep with you. We don't need to like anything about you in order to sleep with you. We're disgusting. I'm okay with that. Accept that. As we get older, we learn not to listen to those urges. Now, so Corey, if I take a drink out of this, right? I don't backwash, I don't do anything, and I just got my hand on it. Could you drink out of it after me? What if I drank like this?
Oh, you did the waterfall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Melissa, could you drink out of it if I didn't backwash in it and I just took a drink out of it? Okay. Would you drink it?
No, I ain't drinking that.
Melissa, would you drink it?
It's up there, yeah.
I know you well enough. Okay, maybe not. I think you're getting a little aggressive with it. Probably.
Yep. Well, 5 fingers just went in there. Do I need to explain more?
Interesting. Processing.
So now, what does this represent? Right? For men, it represents one thing where it's being touched, like all this stuff. Doesn't mean, like, a little different. But now I put my fingers in this plastic bottle and nobody wants to drink it. Case closed. I mean, if we could do that with cans and bottles, right? Now, should a woman be judged based on that? That's a little extreme. I hear guys talk about that. It's a little different. Plus, add in the fact that how many women could I get pregnant in a year? Nobody's got a number? Yeah. At least 365. I could probably double. We'll double. So take 365 multiplied by 2. How many kids can a woman have a year? In a 12-month cycle. So it matters, man. With multiples, yeah. So it matters. It matters so the man understands whose kid it is, right? Those things kind of matter. And so it's just different. With that responsibility, I think women should be treated better. We should open the door for them. We should walk on curbside or make them walk on curbside. We should pay for meals. We should be respectful. We should do all these things that we do. Like, that makes sense. That makes sense. We pay a price for they get unconditional love, we don't. Because we want to be able to trust them to have our kids, to be able to do those things. Old school caveman way of thinking, like I said. Do I believe men should just be out here messing with tons of women? No, no, I don't. I could just trust him. A man who doesn't take care of his kid, I can't trust that. It's because I'm a guy. I get it. It's not meant to make sense. It's probably gonna mess up feelings somewhere. So, but the core message here is take care of your kids, man. Take care of your kids. And if you got boys that aren't taking care of their kids, smack them in the head or stop being their boy. Why are you supporting that?
I'm in the same room and I got feelings about it and let it be known.
It's okay. I understand. I understand. I understand. So, all right, y'all. Thank you for rocking with me on this episode. Let me know your thoughts, comments, all that stuff. You control you. We out. Peace. She said I got feelings about that. I'm starting to understand why